Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sneha and today I'm excited to share one of my new favorite products, and it's actually a setting powder. And this new powder has replaced my old favorite which has been the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder, and you guys know how much I love it. I've constantly raved about it and I've used it for years. And I love it so much that I also carry all three shades available in my freelance kit. But recently I tried a new powder and I am in love. So much so that I think it performs better than the Charlotte Tilbury powder, especially if you have combination oily skin. Now what I love about the Charlotte Tilbury powder is that it is so finely milled that it really minimizes the texture on the skin. And when I say texture, I mean pores. I also mean leftover acne scarring. And even if you have active acne, you will see that those bumps look less raised when you have set it with the Charlotte Tilbury powder. And that's why I love this powder, because I do have quite a bit of texture and pores, especially on my cheek area. Now today I haven't set my foundation or concealer with any powder. So what I'm going to do now is set one half of my face. So set this half of my face with the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish powder. The other half, I'm going to set it with the new powder. And you tell me which side looks better. I'm going to apply both with the Wayne Goss brush number 2. And I'm going to first clean off this brush because I don't know which powder I used last time, on the Color Switch by Sephora. Starting with the Charlotte Tilbury one. So I'm going to apply it to this side, but I do have actually less texture. I do have more texture, as you can see right here on my cheeks. So I'm going to show you how much better the other powder is at minimizing that compared to this side, where I still do have texture right there, but it's slightly less than this side. Starting with this half of my forehead, you can immediately see that the Charlotte Tilbury powder instantly mattifies that skin. Same with my nose, trying to keep it just to this half of the face. And coming closer. So wherever I have texture, I'm just patting it in, and where I don't have texture, I'm going to blend the remaining powder. Okay, so this is what my skin looks like. All right, now just cleaning up the brush on the Color Switch. And then once I've done the demo, I will talk about some of the ingredients in the powders and which one I consider is safer for the face and which one is better value for money. Now on the other side, I'm using the second mystery product. So again, just tapping it on the product. Now this particular powder is more powdery than the Charlotte Tilbury one, in the sense that it's not as tightly packed. So be very gentle with it and use small amounts of powder at a time. Don't dig in your brush into the compact. All right, starting with this side. Now, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but in person, although this side where I applied the Charlotte Tilbury powder instantly felt quite a bit more matte than the side which didn't have any powder. Right now, when I compare the two sides, the Charlotte Tilbury side still has some sheen and glow running through. Not running through, but showing through the powder. So it's not as mattifying as this side. Seems to have mattified it almost completely. There's very few areas that still have shine, and that's possibly because I'm not using it on my entire face, so it's difficult to get into the corners of the face. So just look at the cheek area. This one definitely looks more matte than the Charlotte Tilbury side. Now time for the reveal. This side got the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder. This side got the Nabla, what is it called? Close-Up Smoothing Press Powder. I have medium shade in both of these. Now what I'm going to do is use a setting spray, and that is where I still see the difference between the two powders. So while that's drying up, let's talk a little bit about the powders. So the Nabla one claims to be a matte press powder. That's absolutely true. You could see that it's so much more matte in finish compared to the Charlotte Tilbury powder. It does say that it's suitable for all skin types, and it's formulated with soft focus ingredients to minimize pores and fine lines while controlling shine. That's the word that I love. So it not only minimizes texture, so fine lines, pores and all of that, but also controls the shine. It's available in 3 shades that I mentioned. That's true for both the powders. It's a lightweight and ultra fine powder that melts perfectly into the skin for a flawless natural matte finish. The packaging is quite nice. This is what it looks like. It's nice, compact. On the back you have the name of the shade and the powder, and inside you get a decent sized mirror, which I do use for makeup application, and that's what the compact looks like. Now the Charlotte Tilbury powder claims to prevent excess shine and brighten complexions. Now, I have used this powder for a very long time. It does neither. It does not brighten my complexion, and it does not do anything to prevent excess shine. My skin continues to get oily throughout the day. The only effect is that I love that it minimizes texture for me personally. Then it says soft focus micro powders from nanoparticles blur away lines and imperfections, so very similar to the other one. It has rose wax and almond oil to hydrate the skin throughout the day. I don't think a powder is meant to do hydration, but I'm just reading out what they claim on their website. It has actives to smooth and soothe and restore skin and all that. So it claims to have certain skincare benefits as well, but you should take that with a grain of salt. It says ideal for long-lasting full coverage and the perfect finishing touch. I do think it's a perfect finishing touch, at least before Nabla launched their powder, but it's definitely not long-lasting full coverage. It has literally almost no coverage, and long-lasting, I don't know, it does kind of last on the entire day, I guess, but my oils do seep through. Now, before I break down the price and how much product you get, let's have a look at the skin. Sorry, it was getting a little dark, so I did increase the brightness on my camera. So let's look at the Charlotte Tilbury side now. After using the setting spray, I do see quite a bit of the shine come back. So on my chin, around here, and also on my forehead, if you can see that. Whereas the Nabla one, especially on my cheeks, do you see how much more matte that is compared to the Charlotte Tilbury one? That is one reason I love the Nabla one over the Charlotte Tilbury one. And I've done this comparison on another day where I wore it for an entire day, and at the end of the day, the Nabla one was still looking more matte than the Charlotte Tilbury side. So that's why it's a preference for me, because I do have skin that's more combination and oily in nature. So I do prefer a powder that's going to keep my skin matte for a longer period of time. Coming down to how much product you get and what the pricing is. For the Charlotte Tilbury powder, you get 8 grams and it's for £34. So that brings the price per gram to 4.25, which is quite steep. Whereas the Nabla one contains 11.5 grams, so 3.5 grams more, and the price is 21 versus 34. Which brings the price per gram to 1.8. So the Charlotte Tilbury is 2.5 times more expensive than the Nabla powder. Both the powders are vegan and cruelty-free. So definitely it makes sense for price point that the Nabla one is more economic. And for me, at least with oily skin, it does look better in terms of keeping my skin matte for a longer period of time. So I also went ahead and looked at the ingredients for both the powders. And what was interesting is that the top 8 to 9 ingredients out of the 10 are exactly the same. And for the most part, except for one, I think, all of them are in the exact order in both the powders. So that's food for thought. Charlotte Tilbury one has 26 ingredients and the Nabla one has 20. So it has less ingredients. The particular website that I'm using is CostDNA, and they do have a system where they rate ingredients from 1 through 9 based on the safety data that's available for each ingredient. So the lower the score, the more safe the product is. So the Nabla one, all the ingredients have a score between 1 to 3. So that's a very safe ingredient product. Now in comparison, the Charlotte Tilbury one has, out of the 26 ingredients, they have 2 ingredients that have as high a rating as 7 out of 9 in terms of safety. And it's 2 of the long chain parabens, but that's something to consider. And I definitely prefer the ingredients in the Nabla one, knowing that it definitely has less and also more safe ingredients. So that's my quick video on this brilliant powder that I found. And if you've tried it, please let me know what your thoughts are. I do think it's a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury one. In fact, it's a better dupe, if that makes sense, especially if you have combination and oily skin type. So I hope this video was helpful, and if you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one, which will be on color theory. Bye!